Where did you come from? Where were you born?
I was born in Chengdu, which is the capital city of Sichuan province, southwest of China, a big mountain province next to Tibet. And that was 2 years before Mao's Cultural Revolution. So I went through entire 10 years of chaos after that.
Okay. So you finally found a way to stay and then a pathway to citizenship at some point?
Actually, I was just an international student.
Okay.
And I could become a permanent resident after that Tiananmen Square massacre, where Bush gave all Chinese students basically political asylum. But then my husband and I were married, and because I'm married to an American citizen, now I could stay.
Okay. Now, at some point, you decided to run for Senate. So there was something that put you over the edge. And this is what I thought. I mean, the backstory is fascinating. But what pushed you over the edge? Tell us why you decided that it was important for you to run for Senate.
Oh, when I first came over to this country, I just knew America is a free country. We have constitutional rights, but I was very ignorant about the political system and what's going on in the government. I wasn't politically active. I was independent for many years after I became citizen. I had lots of learning to do. I had to learn English. I had to pay bills and raise a family. And my mind was so indoctrinated by my China education. I was a statist. I believed in government. I believed them as a solution to our problems. So I had to go through entire learning process thanks to my husband, John, who we've been married for 25 years. He is a libertarian heart. He taught me about libertarianism.
Oh, I like this guy
what
more
I
and
went
more.
through was just like
I need to meet you. If your husband is a libertarian, he and I have to talk. I like this guy already. So how long did it take him to get you out of the statist idea into the libertarian idea? Because, I mean, to go from communism to libertarian is quite a long way to travel.
Well, it's really hard to reverse your childhood indoctrination, especially if I was in China until I was about 24 years old. But of course, I became a rebellious when I went to college. So I was 17. So from childhood to 17, that's 10 years Cultural Revolution. It was a long time. It took me really about 28 years to totally get rid of it, to reverse it. 28 years.
Wow, that is a long time, but again, after being indoctrinated as a child. So what made you decide? What was the last straw that made you decide you needed to run for Senate?
So after I become politically active, I decided to join Republican Party because I thought, hey, therefore small limited government. I like that. I like to be fiscally conservative. That's how we survived. When we were very poor. I did some internship. I went to some meetings, and I voted for Bush. But then I saw government expansion is just going crazy under all Republican controlled the Congress and the White House. And in 2008, I just could not vote for McCain. I voted for Libertarian, and I become registered Libertarian. But I wasn't still active until 2013. That Colorado state government trying to ban our magazines, to limit our magazines to 15 rounds. They also had a bill to ban concealed carry on college campuses. That failed later. But all those gun control measures got me really scared. I jumped off the couch, basically, went to Capitol and testified to say, I thought I came to a free country. What are you doing to my Second Amendment? I told my story. I could never touch guns, own guns, buy guns. Even today's Chinese have no rights to gun ownership. They go to prison. And they were indoctrinated to believe that's good for our society, good for public good. And I just told them my story. And of course, they still limited our magazine to 15 rounds. That bill was passed. I got so upset. I became politically active after that.
Well, and you certainly did, because that's where I first saw you, was that picture of you holding the AK-47.
Oh, that was my AR-15.
Oh,
actually.
AR-15. Okay.
I jumped into shop to buy an AR-15 with unlimited rounds because the law was supposed to become effective July 1st. So after July 1st, 2013, you could not buy AR-15 with 30 rounds, and they limit to 15. So I bought that one, and I just thought that, you know what? I become libertarian, actively involved. I become a Common Core fighter. I'm totally against the federal control of education. After 2 years of activism, I become state chair of the Libertarian Party of Colorado. So when I was very upset about the executive order done by Obama, I tried to send a message out and to wake up Americans. I said, what can be better picture for me to hold my gun as a Chinese immigrant in front of U.S. flag to tell, Obama that I once was a slave before. I will never be one here again.
Why would you go directly, because this is a much bigger office to go to and harder to get, why would you go directly for the U.S. Senate and not for maybe something more local to begin with?
Well, I did wrong for Colorado State House 2014 on a Libertarian ticket, and nobody knew who I was that time. I just started to go out, connect my messages of freedom with the people. So I built up my fan supporters base. And when I become a Common Core fighter, outspoken against this intrusion of federal government, now I got more national attention and more support from the whole country. So that I just thought that if I run for this national office, I can get a whole country to watch this race, to listen to my messages, to listen to a Chinese immigrant story from South China, how horrible it is lose your freedom and become a slave. And then I really wanted to wake all Americans up, because I think the country is in deep trouble today because Americans have been just so uninvolved, uneducated, and busy with their life, trust their government, and become more and more relying on government. To me, that's just a very dangerous trait. I said, hey, I don't want this country to becoming more and more like China, the country I left. I need to wake up my fellow citizens.
Okay, so are you running as a Libertarian, or have you gotten on the Republican ticket?
I'm running as a Libertarian, and we will have the nomination done in our March state convention. After that, if I get the nomination, and then my name will be on the ballot.
Okay, now see, this is where I'm not trying to be a pessimist on you, because I'm rooting for you at this point. But I've got to ask, it's very difficult to jump straight into the U.S. Senate race. I mean, that's difficult enough from the position you're in, but then to do it as a Libertarian, which doesn't tend to get a whole lot of votes. So how do you work that politically? How do you make sure you get enough votes, not just to get on the ballot, but to win the seat?
Well, I know what odds I have, but I truly believe a tireless individual citizen can make huge difference if that person can really articulate the principles of freedom and the principle of individual rights. I think I can make connections with the public. I'm not a hardcore party person. I'm just fed up with our two-party monopoly in this country, driving this country to the ground in the past. I mean, I used to believe that maybe Republican Party could be for small, limited government, but I give that up. I believe that with my unique stories and my articulation ability, I can go out to focus on my positive messages and to hammer the two-party monopoly, the crony, corporatism, and they sold us out. They're supposed to work for us as public servants. But now they are our masters. They pass laws without reading them. They push down our throats and all kinds of big government measures, and their cronies benefit from our taxpayers' money. I'm just fed up.
No, you sound fed up, frankly, which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing to be fed up like that and have that kind of passion. Where do people find, you and I were talking on Facebook over the weekend, but website, any other social media where they can have a conversation with you?
Yes, I have almost 10,000 followers now on my Facebook, which is a Lily for Liberty, Lily, number 4, Liberty. I have almost 10,000 likes, and I'm very active on Facebook to communicate with the public nationally. After I made announcement, people like my messages, love my video, and they're all trying to tell their friends, family in Colorado to vote for me. And I got an interview every day this week. And today is the first day with you. And I also have a website. It details my issues, my platform, and also my stories. If you go to lilyforliberty.com, and same thing with Twitter at Lily for Liberty. So I wanted to start this grassroots movement. I know that I will not be establishment pick, but the thing is though that people are fed up with the establishment pick the candidate. They want somebody who's principled, who will not be, selling people out, who will not be bought, and go to Washington, stand up firm to be the last fighter for their freedom, hold the line. I am that person. People can trust me on that.
Okay, what's that Facebook address again?
It's Lily for Liberty.
Okay.
That's my Facebook public page. Everybody can go there, like it, and follow me. And they can go to my website to donate, to become a volunteer, and lilyforliberty.com. So that I hopefully that with grassroots support, people will support me campaigns across the country, not just Colorado.
Okay, Lily, love you to death. Go get them.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem.